Good day, my plant foldies. This is Richie at GrowFolds, and today we'll be doing a plant haul for day one at the PlantCon 2024 in Dallas, Texas. As always, please make sure you're hitting that like button, following me on Instagram at GrowFolds. I am so excited to share all of the plants that I was able to find at PlantCon 2024. Day one, I was able to meet a lot of the local plant foldies. Super excited to talk about that today. And today's video will be divided in several parts. The first part is going to be GreenspacesID plant haul. So I'm going to show you the process of how I take the plants out, unbox them, and talk about some of the plants, the plant care tips. So hopefully everybody will stay tuned for the entire video. This is a long playing video where I discuss plants and all of the plants I received. So you can see right off the bat, I got a variegated chia pens. Syngonium right here, beautiful plant. And the thing about it is, with all of the plants that I got from Indonesia, there were two vendors. I got GreenspacesID, this is the first part, and then I have Art Garden Flowers that also had some plants. They had all of these plants in sphagnum moss, and the thing about it is, this is probably how you would get the plants if you were to actually import them from overseas. They typically have them in sphagnum moss. So what I like to do is obviously take them out of the sphagnum moss, inspect the roots, and what you want to look at plant foldies. And for those that are new to the channel, I call my viewers and subscribers plant foldies. Welcome to the channel. I like to take them out of the sphagnum moss, and what I like to do is really clean out the roots. I inspect the roots. I want to make sure that there's nothing too mushy or browning on the roots. That would be root rot. And then I take what I call my plant foldy mist, which is basically a DIY neem oil spray that I use to spray the leaves, the tops, the bottoms, the stems, in between the nodes, and definitely the roots. There is a mixture of hydrogen peroxide and rubbing alcohol, as well as a little bit of dish soap, water, and neem oil, and this actually helps disinfect the plant. Now, for plants that are overseas, they have to get a phyto sanitary certificate. So before they even leave the country of origin, they already have been disinfected, pest-free, but you never know in terms of what could happen during the travel. Any of the plants I actually added to my plant collection will not enter my plant collection without getting sprayed down. So you can see plant foldies, I am spraying it down. And what I like to do with the spray is I like to let the spray solution stay on the plant for about 4 minutes, just to make sure that it kills any eggs, any type of plant pest. And oh my gosh, plant foldies, look at how gorgeous this variegated Syngonium chia pens is. Now, what I like to do is, once I've already washed off all of the neem oil, especially on the roots and stems, I like to mix a water solution, which would be a silica solution called Protect, as well as a little bit of super thread. That B vitamin really helps replenish the stresses of traveling for any of the plants. It's a really good deal, and you'll see this process repeated multiple times during my plant haul. I like to actually put plants that have been in sphagnum for a good minimum 48 hours just to acclimate and really get hydrated. Now, with all of the plants from GreenspacesID, I am going to just let them sit there for more than a week just to see if they need to actually grow some more secondary roots or repropagate. So we'll see about that. The next one up is going to be Aglaonemas comotatum. So this is another variegated Aglaonema. And plant foldies, when it comes to importing plants from Indonesia, I do trust GreenspacesID. They were plantshop.us at the PlantCon 2024. So I just like the fact that this has been my second situation or a second import from them, and I got some really healthy looking plants. There was some plants, some Aglaonema, that did not make it in the best condition, but they were easily replaced by some other plants. One of the plants was a Syngonium chia pens that I got, and then I was offered a little bit replacement discount, so I was really happy about that. There is always a risk, plant foldies, if you were to actually import overseas. It's not always the seller's fault. It could be the transit of time or even just the wear and tear of travel. Now, the good thing about it is GreenspacesID does have a US broker, so they are able to send these plants as soon as it gets a phytosanitary certificate to the United States via air cargo. It's a lot faster, but the only thing about importing plants from Indonesia, typically it takes about 2 to 3 weeks to get a phytosanitary certificate, so that's the longest time. But once they get that, once the country is able to produce those documents where it deems that this is pest-free to enter the country that it's going to, the process is pretty seamless. People will ask whether you have to have a import plant license. You typically do if you are importing where the actual seller doesn't have like a US broker that can receive it. I happen to have an import license. My very first import from Indonesia happened to be one back in December, and it was a long process, but the import license didn't take that long. It's actually free. You just go to the United States Department of Agriculture to get it. But to go back to the plants, you can see plant folies that I have taken the sphagnum moss out, and with Aglaonema, what I love about Aglaonema is obviously the easy care, but their roots, you will be able to easily tell if their roots are healthy. This one was a pretty good set of roots right here, so I don't have any concerns about it acclimating into my actual environment. And I'm just really excited, plant folies, because with all of the support that I have received from you guys and just all of the viewership I've received in the last 2 weeks, I am going to be able to replenish some of my plants, and you can see that the Aglaonemas are going to be back in business. And I'll tell you, once you see all of the videos I shot from PlantCon 2024 on the first day, I'm excited to show you a lot of these plants. I'm excited to show you those Aglaonemas and just all of the plant vendors. So that, stay tuned for that. I will have several videos. I would say I probably filmed a good 5 to 6 hours yesterday. We'll see what that looks like, and I'm going to be separating them in several parts. I really want to bring a lot of exposure to plant conventions. I think it's important that people can see what a plant convention looks like. In hindsight, I would say that PlantCon 2024 Dallas, the day one, was a success. And you can see right over here, plant folies. It is all cleaned up. It's all shiny and healthy looking. Look at how gorgeous that variegation is. This is basically a variegated form of an Aglaonema, which makes it really interesting. And again, with Indonesia has some of the best Aglaonema hybrids in the entire world. There are a couple of Aglaonema on my wish list that I was able to fulfill at PlantCon today. So you're going to have to see at the latter part of the video to see that. And then plant foldies, or those that have attended PlantCon, please leave in the comments what plants you ended up getting, what plants you like to get. Again, I love getting commentary. I love engagement in the comment section, and I also love receiving those likes. I cannot tell you, plant folies, how much it helps the channel grow by just hitting that like button. So the next plant I'm going to go show you is this plant right over here. With Indonesian imports, they typically pack them like this, so you'll see that this is what it would look like if you were to receive them. This is an Antherium Populum Red cross of some sort. I can't really pronounce it, but what I'll tell you is this is the actual bonus or free plant that I received from my friend from GreenspacesID. I saw a lot of Anthuriums actually out at PlantCon 2024. I do intend to go to PlantCon 2024 day 2, but I need to finish this actual voiceover and editing, so I won't make it in there until about noon to go look at some more Anthuriums. Here's the thing about Anthuriums. I have always had the impression that Anthuriums were extremely difficult to grow just because they need to have higher humidity levels. What's really cool is the first Anthurium that I received from GreenspacesID, it's doing amazing. I love that velvety texture. I love the veining. I love the leaf shape. I love that deep green. And so I have started to grow them in semi-hydroponics. It's actually growing in leca. So this particular Anthurium, once it's acclimated and hydrated for about a week, I am going to go ahead and transfer this into leca. perhaps pond. We're going to see what that looks like, but you can see this particular Anthurium is extremely healthy because if you see the roots, they are bright white. It looks like there was no damage to this Anthurium. And you know, I like to be slightly judgy, or I have been slightly judgy when it comes to Anthuriums because I feel like they are such a finicky plant, but they have proven me wrong. I feel like of all the plants I've seen in terms of just imports or travel, at least in my luck, the roots, I mean, plant foldies, let me know in the comments what you think. The roots are amazing. And I know that there are some mixed reviews for GreenspacesID or any plants that some plant YouTubers have imported, but I'll tell you, maybe I have just gotten lucky, or maybe it's just pure luck, but all of my import experiences, this is my third time, have actually gone well. I mean, yes, they got shipped right to PlantCon, so you know, maybe the travel time was a little bit faster, but you know, that is something that I'm super thankful for. And again, plant foldies, what you want to do again is take the sphagnum moss out. You really want to try to get as much of the sphagnum moss off of the plant, and the reason being is, say you put that plant's roots into a soil substrate, a semi-hydroponic substrate, or even a straight hydroponic substrate, you don't really want to keep that sphagnum moss because sphagnum moss actually will hold moisture a little bit more so, and sometimes moisture on a plant, especially a plant that doesn't need it, may potentially rot the roots. Sphagnum moss mixed with like soil can also harbor some bacteria that can be harmful to the roots, and so that's the reason why I like to sterilize the roots using my neem oil. The neem oil will not harm the plant. The hydrogen peroxide will not harm the plant. And what I like to do is I like to really clean down the roots after I've let the solutions sit on the plant for a couple of minutes. And then I like to take the roots and put them into, a water with a mixture of silica solution. So here's the thing about the silica solution. It actually helps prevent root rot. It makes the cells of the plant a little bit sturdier. So not only does the silica make it more sturdy as far as being drought tolerant, root rot anti-root rot, and it actually helps with a lot of the variegated plants. I've noticed that when I use it for my Monstera albo or a lot of my highly variegated plants, I see a less browning and crisping when I use that. And so I like to mix that into my water that I use to acclimate my import plants. So plant foldies, let me know in the comments if you have any questions about it. But as you can see, this is another review for some of the plants I received overseas from GreenSpaces Indonesia. Love them, and I would recommend them. They don't really sponsor me in that sense. I really want to just make sure that you guys get that honest review. You know, whenever I do plant shopping videos or plant content, it's very important for my viewers to see the positive sides about plant care, but also some of the not so positive sides of plant care, so I could take you alongside with me as a learning experience or a learning journey. But as you can see right here, beautiful Antherium Populum Red petiole crossed with Forgetii. I think I said that was a whole mouthful. And then this is a Philodendron Bti Cross with the Philodendron Atopowensi or Powensi. And I think I ended up getting this on my first haul, but you know what? 2 is better than 1. And I really like the look of this plant. You can see that it is packed in sphagnum moss. So we're going to see what it looks like. So when I actually take the paper out of the packaging, you can see that there is a little bit slight browning on the very, very last part of the leaf, but I love the brown undersides of the leaf. Look at how gorgeous this is, plant foldies. And I am really excited for you guys to see the PlantCon actual show. I will have so many hours of it. There were a couple of vendors that I spent a lot of time with, and I'm hoping that with day 2, I'll be able to feature some more of the vendors. The only thing is day 2 is probably going to be a little bit lighter in terms of the plant inventory, because when I say that PlantCon 2024 Dallas was a success, definitely wasn't in my opinion. There were so many plant lovers like yourself that were just running around and getting plants. I happen to have a little wagon, and my wagon ended up just getting a lot of plants. I was so thankful that Plant Foldy Luke was there to help me. He actually took a lot of the plants that I bought early back to my house, just that way I didn't have to like watch over so many plants. And you know, that was just a really good event. I would say if you are going to go to PlantCon in Houston next year, I would pay the extra $100 in pricing for the early access admission. So I was able to get in there from 8 to 10, and I was able to shop for plants before the general public. You are able to avoid the lines, the crowding, and especially if you don't do well with crowds and you really want to look for that one plant that you have, like a wish list plant, I would definitely do that. I think it's worth it. I think there's a lot of peace behind that, because when I say 10:15 hit, 10:30, it was really a lot. And, you know, I was really thankful to be able to meet a lot of the plant foldies. I'll go into detail about that throughout the video and talk about my experience meeting some subscribers that you actually just see on, like, say, a live premiere chat or in the comments, but then to be able to have some really good fellowship and talk to them, talk to you know, talk about their thoughts, and just really hang out with, you know, just people that you would not have seen had you not started a YouTube channel. I mean, I was super thankful. But to go back to the plants, and, you know, for those that are still watching it, I'm hoping that you have made it this far into the video. You really got to stick around and see some of the really cool plant plant hauls that I got from all of these different vendors. As far as my budget, I actually stayed within budget, surprise, surprise, but I'm pretty sure that I'm gonna be tempted to go over budget, because, you know, they always say YOLO, right? Like, you only live once. The fact that I saw so many plants, the fact that there was so much positive energy, plant foldies, it was just so amazing. And I did want to shout out Ava, the social media manager for PlantCon. Thank you so much for being so kind, for being able to get me some early access tickets, for actually taking the time to chat with me, to interact with me, to respond to all of my direct messages, and more importantly, sharing my plant video of PlantCon 2024 from Houston. I really appreciate that. I really feel like that has really gotten a lot of attention because of the shares on the PlantCon Instagram page. There were a couple of plant vendors that actually recognized my content, and so I was really thankful for that. And, you know, when it comes down to it, the plant community, there are some times where maybe there might be some negativity on it. I think that that's something that happens with any community. But if you ever want to feel that actual passion, that love, that excitement, that energy for plants, definitely make it to a PlantCon. Now, going back to this plant right here, I did notice that the roots, while there were some pretty good roots there, this is going to be a plant that I may need to keep in water to see if I can get some secondary roots. And the reason being is it doesn't have the best roots. It's workable, but that's the thing about imports plant foldies, is you want to be a little bit more selected before you actually put it in a soil substrate. Now, some people may just put these plants in a soil substrate or some type of substrate. I think that's a little bit risky, and you can see right here the roots are viable, so that it's not like the roots are not great, but I want to be with more caution about this particular plant. You can see that this plant, though, is healthy because there is a new growth point. In the growth point, it is not rotting. It's just going to take a little bit of time for this one to acclimate. So as far as like the pros and cons about importing, you know, I would say these days, a lot of these plants, especially the ones that you could only get overseas, you wouldn't be able to unless you actually import it. But now with the resurgence of like tissue culture, with more plant nurseries locally in the United States able to get these, that was really really good. But you can see right here, for instance, like I have been looking for a Monstera variegated Peru, and I am super excited. This has some really good variegation. It's probably not the highest variegation, and the only thing about Monstera variegated Peru, not sure if the actual variegation is how do I put it, is influenced by the actual genetics of the plant or the light. as a general thumb, when it comes to variegation, you want to just make sure that you provide light. Bright indirect light is basically the best happy medium for any plant. The plant is always going to be, especially if it's an indoor tropical plant, you're going to have to just look at giving it that light. But you can see right here, this is a pretty long one. Honestly, I could chop this up and have about 4 or 5 plants and, propagate it in water, but I'm going to go ahead and not do that at this moment. We're going to see about just letting it acclimate into, the water that I have. Now, as far as the water, I'm going to let them sit there within 24 hours. I may change it within 72 hours, or I may change it daily. We'll see. But you can see that the roots are a little bit dehydrated. That's expected, especially since they came from Indonesia. I mean, I went on vacation to the Philippines, and I'll tell you, just to get from North Dallas to the Philippines, I had to go on a flight for 17 hours to South Korea. Then I had to go have a layover in South Korea for 4 hours, and then it was another 3-hour flight. So you can just imagine, even with these plants, that is such a long journey for me. I was dehydrated. I was tired. I needed to de-stress. So I can only imagine what that would look like for a plant that's been packed in a dark box, wrapped in sphagnum moss as some sort of hydration. But you can see plant foldies again. I am spraying these plants down thoroughly, and that's the reason why I do that, because I just want to make sure that we do not have any traces of pests. And you can see right here, look at how gorgeous the leaves are. And then plant foldies, let me know what you think about this particular plant. Let me know if you are considering doing an import from GreenspacesID. If you are and you're following me on Instagram, please leave me a direct message, a comment. I will connect with you if you have any questions. And I do have a promo code for GreenspacesID. If you buy plants, I think the first 5 plant foldies will get a free bonus plant. But if you use my actual promo code to get 20% off, it is GrowFolds20. So it's just one word, GrowFolds20. You will get 20% off your entire purchase, and you will potentially get a free bonus plant. You would just need to let the GreenspacesID staff know via Instagram that you are a plant foldy, a GrowFolds viewer, and I'm sure that they can give you a discount. But plant foldies, again, you can see that this is a variegated Monstera Peru. Really like the look of it. It's one of those plants, though, that you have to really just let acclimate. I know a lot of this first part of the video is going to be just the acclimation process of these Indonesian overseas plants. I think it's important, though, because especially when you go to a plant convention, for instance, like PlantCon 2024, you're buying these plants that are wrapped in, paper. They have got sphagnum moss. And while I would assume that the majority of our plant lovers, especially if you're going to a plant con, would know some of the process of how to acclimate the plants, I still think it's important to show you guys what that would look like. I mean, and this is another plant that I have been wanting on my wish list. This is basically a Philodendron Variegated violin, or how do you pronounce it? Philodendron Bti I think, variegated. I love this because I have the green form, I have the Aurea neon green form, and now I have the variegated form. So super excited about that. Now with this particular plant, you notice that these plants right here, this plant right here has the juvenile leaves. As it continues to crawl up a moss pole, a stake, a plank, or something that would actually mimic its natural growth habit or its natural environment, the leaves will change into more mature leaves. So that's another thing about plants, especially philodendron. They are epiphytes, or plants that like to attach itself onto some type of structure. But you can see right here, it is a very healthy looking plant. Variegation is stunning. The only thing is the roots for this particular philodendron were a little bit more fine. It looks like this plant has been in sphagnum moss for quite a while, so I did not want to risk trying to rip off any sphagnum moss or off the roots. So I'm just going to try to wash it a little bit more so and see if I can actually get rid of some more of that sphagnum moss. But this one, I know for a fact, is not going to be put in any type of substrate except water until it actually produces some secondary roots or some more new roots. So maybe possibly, it's not really repropagating it because it does have roots. It's just that the roots are either very dehydrated, or it just needs to just develop a little bit more. Like, I wouldn't want to put this plant in a big planter because I would be afraid that the plant would actually root rot. But if you look at this plant, absolutely stunning. Like, that's the thing I will say about PlantCon 2024. You already know about plant folies if you watch my videos daily, that I talk about the beauty of just solid green foliage. But there is a certain level, I would say, about like variegated plants that just hits it different for all of us. And I could even say for this particular plant, I mean, the variegation is amazing. I also wanted to just say that as far as this plant, I'm not worried about it. I feel like I'm going to give it some pretty good acclimation practices. Some people will actually give it a little bit more humidity, like we'll actually put it in like a tub. That way there's more humidity. I'm not as worried about that, just because I feel like the silica solution or that Protect solution, which you can actually buy on Amazon, will actually help the plant stabilize, as well as that Super Thrive. So I think that will be okay. And then the final one is a Syngonium Green Splash, or what is also known as a Syngonium Green Freckles. I like Syngoniums. This one actually was part of the replacement plant because I originally ordered 2 more Aglaonema. There was an Aglaonema Pictum tricolor that was available, as well as an Aglaonema Red Army. Unfortunately, those did not make it into the best condition, and Green Spaces was not comfortable giving me those plants. So I just figured that we can get some replacement. So the Syngonium Chia Pens variegated, this plant were a replacement for that, as far as just the credit is concerned. Now, I do intend to check out any more plants from GreenspacesID on the second day of PlantCon, so we'll see about that. But you know, the Aglaonema tricolor Pictum is one that I really want to get. I may be searching for some more. I'm actually super excited to go back to PlantCon 2024. I literally was there, plant folies, from 8 a.m. till 5:45, just wandering around, filming, and really trying to get that content for our viewers. But you can see right here, this had some really viable roots, super strong roots. And even though the roots looked a little darker, they were solid, they were not mushy. It just probably looked like this plant was growing in a soil substrate for quite a while. And you know, sometimes the roots, you just can't get them that clean. But I did do my very best. I am now filling it up with some of my Protect silica solution with Super Thrive. That really works out. But as far as this Syngonium, it is a little bit slower growing Syngonium. I am going to try and get some more Syngoniums on my plant haul video for the second day. We'll see. But this is already another Syngonium that I already currently have. But the thing about it is, it's such a slow grower. And, full transparency, plant folies, I wanted more instant gratification because after the PlantCon 2024, my plant setup is going to be together to the point where I could possibly give you a houseplant tour. So we're going to see the next haul. This is the Art Garden Flowers plant haul. So this was another Indonesian vendor that was out at PlantCon 2024 in Dallas. I'm super excited to show you this because I got a nice little discount for these plant pricing, but you can see that these are what the plants look like whenever they are brought into the United States. The thing about plants is you are not able to import plants if there is any type of soil. You have to have them in sphagnum moss because soil apparently may harbor pests, and so the USDA will not allow that at all. So you will always see sphagnum moss. And you can see right here, this is a philodendron strawberry shake, and it is actually a pretty good sized philodendron strawberry shake. So plant foliage, you already know I like to go do big box store plant shopping. And if you are in North Dallas or in Texas in general, you know that HEB grocery store has philodendron strawberry shakes for $55.22. The size is about the same size as this. So I went ahead and just bought this from the Indonesian vendor, and you can see that the roots are fairly stable. It doesn't have nearly as many roots, but if you look at the foliage, it's super healthy looking, and the variegation is pretty good. Now, I think for philodendron strawberry shake, I'm not sure if it's actually influenced by the genetics of the plant or if lighting conditions would actually push out more variegation. But you know, I got a really good price for this, and I'm just really excited that I ended up getting a philodendron strawberry shake. So if you have been following my YouTube channel, you know that I'm really good friends with Janae Simone. So please definitely check out her YouTube channel. She and I actually hung out at PlantCon. And then also Steven from I Live Plants. He has a YouTube channel. He was a diehard plant foldie. He was one of my original viewers, and he has always been able to like encourage me to continue to be myself, to continue to actually do more plant content. But we have created a trio of a trio called the Cultivation Corner, where we are going to be doing 30-minute plus plant podcasts that we will be actually uploading on all 3 of our videos. But anyways, to go back to it, Steven actually has a philodendron strawberry shake he bought at HEB, and we talked about whenever we buy plants that are uncommon, rare, that between me, Janae, and Steven, we would share plant cuttings. Here's the thing, I didn't really want to wait any longer for the philodendron strawberry shake, just because this one was sitting there right in front of me. And I figured if I'm going to get a pretty good price already, I'm going to go ahead and, indulge a little bit. And that's the thing, plant folies, you do have to be really mindful of your budget. Whenever you go to a plant convention, I know that, at a big box store, you will always get that plant pricing. You will always know that if, say, you go plant shopping at a big box store, it's not going to be, life or death in terms of the plant getting restocked. But if you are going to a plant convention, like even in my head as I do this voiceover, I'm thinking about some of the plants that I feel like I need to purchase, because it's not going to be a plant I could find easily, even online. So just be mindful of that. Now, this one, for instance, is a philodendron marmalade. They were selling it for $45, but I ended up getting a little bit of a discount. Super excited about that. You can see that I got rid of the sphagnum moss, but why I've ended up buying this philodendron is because Art Flowers Garden ended up having larger specimens of the philodendron orange marmalade. Now, while it's not as brightly yellow neon colored, it still has that speckling and variegation. And if you notice that the plant is a little bit flattened, it's just because it's actually been wrapped very tightly. And that's the reason why it is still a little bit more on the flatter side, but I'm not worried about that. I sprayed it down very well to make sure that the plant is going to get just disinfected. So we're going to go ahead and do that, plant foldies. And you can see that this is a healthy looking plant. I'm actually going to go back on the second day to Garden Flowers Art or something like that. Art Garden, or was it Art Garden Flowers or Art Flowers Garden? Art Flowers Garden. Yeah, there you go. I'm gonna go check that out and just talk to the people there, because they were super kind, and I just love having some amazing plant vendors. And I will tell you, if you are a plant vendor that sold some plants at PlantCon 2024 in Dallas, thank you for your efforts. Thank you for having these plants available to all of us plant foldies. It was a pleasure talking to some of the plant vendors, and just knowing that, some of these vendors had to travel via overseas. Some vendors had to really take big trucks of plants and drive across the country. It was just really amazing, and I'm hoping that I can feature some of the video, some plants that I purchased. And then obviously the local DFW plant shops, the vendors there, I always love seeing them, just because we always want to support local plant shops. Plant shopping in general is exciting. And I think for me, after meeting some local plant foldies in person and being able to hang out, some of my takebacks are, you never really know what type of impact you have on people. And then number 2, I feel like, as somebody who has done YouTube content or social media content, just being humble and mindful, thankful and grateful just for all of the viewership that people give your content. I will tell you, I would not be in this state if I hadn't had such loyal like plant foldies, such loyal viewers, and to be able to meet some in person and just really get to know them, get to talk to them was amazing. I will say, for instance, Trish, she is phenomenal. Both me and Janae were talking about how she is such a loyal kind individual. She was literally the first person at PlantCon 2024. So way to represent the plant foldies, Trish, for making it, and just, you know, the excitement, the support Trish has given my channel, and I know Janae's channel, and just her just walking around with us, chatting with us. That was amazing. I also wanted to say for like Daniel, for instance, Daniel, you are amazing as well. Daniel Alacacia, just just getting to know him and then just getting to talk to him. He's going to be in some of the cameos. I also was able to meet Jamie Otis. That was cool too. I know she was in a lot of the workshops, so hopefully we'll be able to hang out on the second day. And then Rose, like I was able to meet you and your partner, and even though it was a very short meeting, I'm hoping that I'll be able to hang out with you on the PlantCon second day. But anyways, to go back to the plants, you can see right here, we've got this beautiful variegated Aglaonemas simplex. Now, this is why I love Aglaonema. Notice how the Aglaonema are a little bit more durable when it comes to the importing, and you can see these roots are pretty thick, and you can see that there was already a new growth point right there. I'm going to see what that looks like in terms of this plant and just how it acclimates. Hopefully it will continue to have a positive trajectory in terms of acclimating into my collection. But I actually ended up splurging a little bit on some of the more variegated Aglaonema because they're just a little bit more challenging to find in the United States. And when it comes down to it, importing plants or plants from overseas, from like Indonesia or Thailand, you tend to get these Aglaonema. And again, as I noticed when I was shopping at PlantCon, I just didn't really see a lot of clamor for Aglaonema. So I don't know what it is about Aglaonema. I hope that people would really not sleep on Aglaonema. I think it's such an awesome plant. It's a plant that is highly underrated. When I say underrated, I don't really see a lot of like even plant influencers really talking heavily about Aglaonema. But you already know plant foldies. If you call yourself a plant foldie, start out with an Aglaonema. You know, those big box store Aglaonemas you find, you can start out with an Aglaonema Silver Bay or an Aglaonema Red Siam. I think that those are plants that we need to start with. But to go back to this plant right here from Art Flowers Garden, you also would have to just make sure that these Aglaonema just, you know, acclimate in this water. So I'm going to leave this for a little bit. I know that the other Aglaonema I got from GreenspacesID, the Aglaonema Big Papa, has actually been in water for quite a bit now. I haven't put it in a substrate. All of the other first part of my GreenspacesID imports are now in either leca or some type of substrate, and they're doing very well. Some of them are pushing out new growth, and I'm hoping to do an import update on all of these plants that I've gotten from GreenspacesID as well as this. But you can see right here, look at this variegated Aglaonema simplex. I've never seen that. Then we have a Philodendron strawberry shake right over here. Plant folies, let me know what you think about these plants. You can see we've got a Philodendron orange marmalade. We've got more plants from overseas here. I'm just going to pan over, but I'm so excited that I was able to get a lot of the plants. And then you can see right over here, variegated Syngonium chia pens. Look at that half moon. And even though I have a variegated chia pens, the leaves are not the size of this one. So these are all my plants from Indonesia, and I'm super excited. So it's a combination of two plant vendors. As you can see, it is a little bit time consuming about just making sure that you're getting rid of the sphagnum moss in the acclimation period. And so that is probably the only con I would say about importing plants, is you do have to put in a little bit more effort. It is not an instant potted up plant. It's not a plant that's already fully established. There's still a little bit of a risk of whether the plant is actually going to acclimate and grow. At least for me, I actually like the process. So, you know, I talk about having these plant chores and how I struggle with just watering plants. Well, if the plant is just sitting in hydroponics or just straight water, then I'm doing okay with that. But plant foldies, let me know in the comments if you would buy from these Indonesian plant vendors. These are a live review of that, and this is my first part of the haul. And then now I will be doing a haul from Toltec Plants haul. I love Toltec Plants, and I'm going to tell you, Pearl, she is amazing. I love Pearl, and she was able to get me some amazing Aglaonema. You can see right here, this is an Aglaonema orange dust. Love this. And while at a big box store, Costa Farms can get you some of these trending tropicals, they have yet to get some of these beautiful orange Aglaonema. That's another thing, like, I am obsessed with orange foliage plants. So you already know Plant Foldies. I have this new obsession about orange, but look at how beautiful that is. And the stems, oh my gosh, the stems are amazing. And I will say that Pearl and Toltec Plants really made my dreams come true, my plant dreams come true, and you will see very shortly why. That's the reason why I'm excited to get the plant haul. Like, some people were asking me to do the actual plant con video, but I just feel like I don't typically show you my personal plants. And you can see right here, this one was in sphagnum, and it looks like the roots are really good. So it's not like the roots are rotting. It's literally, it was in a soil type substrate probably, and then they just wrapped it around sphagnum to transfer it, because Pearl and her husband actually live in Florida. They used to have a house out in North McKinney, out in Flower Mound, so we are almost like neighbors. But what I didn't know is when they sold me this plant, they had 2 Aglaonemas. So I've got 2 Aglaonema orange dust. I am definitely excited, and when I say that Toltec Plants has the best Aglaonema around, they do. Now, here's the thing, Plant Foldies, and anybody that is watching my YouTube channel, if you want to get Aglaonema in the United States shipped to you, go to Toltec Plants. They are typically a wholesaler, but you can send a direct message to Pearl on Instagram. So you can just look them up on Instagram, and you can request to see if you can order plants from them. But oh my gosh, it is amazing. And you can see right here again, I'm gonna wash the roots really well, because I do want to put this Aglaonema in water just to let it hydrate a little bit, let it replenish, since it is not in a substrate that's already established. But you can see that the roots on Aglaonema are super strong, super thick. My care tips for Aglaonema, especially for colorful ones from Toltec Plants, is you want to make sure that you're providing them with quite a bit of bright indirect light. Aglaonema tend to be marketed as a plant that can tolerate low light conditions, and this is what I have been trying to plant fluence. That's my new term, plant fluence. Our viewers and subscribers, is just because a plant is low light tolerant doesn't mean that you need to put a plant in low light conditions. If you can avoid giving them a low light condition, give them the bright indirect light. Now, if it can't be helped, what I would do with a plant that is low light tolerant is let it be in that spot, but then maybe once or twice a week, move it near a south facing window, an east facing window, so it's flooded with light. That way the plant actually can photosynthesize and really get the best health. But as you can see, Plant Foldies, with this Aglaonema, especially the ones that are being imported from Thailand and Indonesia, you want to make sure that the plant receives a lot of light, because you won't get the really nice orange variegation from it. So you already know, Plant Foldies, this one is probably going to grow under a green light. But oh my gosh, I'm so excited to have gotten an Aglaonema orange dust. This is such an uncommon plant to find in the United States. Now, obviously with Toltec Plants, they have a family farm, I believe, and they're able to import plants and actually grow them in Florida. So all of these plants, like whether it's Aglaonema or all of the aeroids they have, I am excited to do a more detailed feature of Toltec Plants in a future Plant Con video. There are some vendors that I really want to push through, because not only do they have some great plants, but the family, the business owner behind it really make it. And that's the thing. Not only do you have like amazing plants, but amazing people behind the plants is such a huge plus. I cannot thank Pearl enough. Kapunka, I think I said that correct in Thailand, but this is just, oh my gosh, Plant Foldies, let me know what you think. And this is the one thing I wanted to show you, Aglaonema Lotus Delight. And Plant Foldies, or anybody watching this, please Google Aglaonema Lotus Delight and check out how much the price would be if you were to buy it somewhere else. This is my third and final Aglaonema Lotus Delight that I want to try to grow in my plant collection. About 3 years ago, maybe 3 or 4 years ago, I actually got an Aglaonema Lotus Delight I bought from Etsy. Not Etsy, sorry. I bought from eBay. I ended up paying like $400 US for it, and they were able to get me such a good price for this Aglaonema Lotus Delight. Now, my good friend Janae Simone, who has that YouTube channel, she also got an Aglaonema Lotus Delight. And when I say that this is one of the most beautiful Aglaonema, it doesn't even look real. I'm so glad we were able to find it, as well as this Aglaonema Super White. I think it's Super White. I don't know if it is. I think it's Aglaonema White Legacy, honestly. White stems, but look at how beautiful that white actually extends. What I like about this Aglaonema is the white stem extends to where there's not like a contrast between the stem and the leaves. Beautiful plant. Now, these two plants right here are actually out grown in like cocoa peat, so a very thick substrate. I don't want to do too much to the plant. I want to make sure that they are just kind of sitting there. I'm gonna put a little bit of systemic granules and water it with that protect silica solution, just to make sure that the plants have roots that are going to be viable and established and may not have root rot, because the thing that will kill Aglaonema is overwatering. So they tend to like to be underwatered, but just make sure you're not like me, where I literally don't water them for like an entire month and a month. But the overall Aglaonemas are nice. Now, some people will think that Aglaonema prefer high humidity. They don't. I think just regular humidity, ambient humidity is enough to get these plants. Now, as far as plant pests for Aglaonema, I think the only plant pest you could potentially get that would really hurt them is thrifts. So I've noticed that Aglaonema, once they get thrifts, you'll notice that the leaves start to turn yellow on the edges, and then possibly spider mites. I know that the Aglaonema Lotus Delight tends to be a little bit more finicky when it comes to plant pests, so you have to stay on top of that. But I also sprayed it with my Plant Foldy neem oil solution, so that should be protecting that. Now, I wanted to go talk about another place that I got. This is a local Houston vendor called Hive Plants, and I'm super excited because look at this Philodendron Jose Buono that I got for $12.50. So I was actually thankful that I was able to get to the Hive Plants, because by the time 10:30 hit, they had such cost-effective plant pricing. I would say that Hive Plants actually have the most cost-effective plant pricing, or some of the most cost-effective plant pricing out at PlantCon 2024. They do have social media as well, so you can reach out to them, but they were super kind. I was able to talk to Travis for a little bit and really talk about, you know, the plants that they have offered. I'm super excited about that, and it's just really nice that they were able to have all of these plants like this Jose Buono readily available for it. I love the variegation. I know that it is still a little bit of a starter plant, but you know what? When it comes down to philodendron, for instance, I don't mind doing starter plants because I feel like starter plants are readily available for philodendron, and they actually establish pretty well. They're pretty fast growing plants, so it's not like I have to worry about it not actually becoming a beautiful plant. I am on the caution as well about just being a little bit more mindful about my plant budget. And there's certain plants that, while I want some like instant gratification, I also want plants that I know will establish with just a little bit of love and care, and this is what it is. But Hive Plants, this is their socials. You can pause this and scan the QR code to get it, and they had some really cute packaging, and you can see this was what I was super excited about. Plant Foldies, this is so cool. I was able to find a starter of a philodendron green nuclear Congo for $15, or green Congo nuclear. I mean, yes, like you can see that the variegation looks like a cosmic nuclear explosion, but look at how beautiful that is. And I did see some more larger nuclear Congos, or philodendron green Congo nuclear, and it is awesome. But I was able to get it for a good price. And again, Plant Foldies, it's all about the plant pricing for me. If you want to save money, you have to really be mindful about the plant pricing. You know, plant conventions are a really good place to actually make some networking, to do some networking, to make some connections with people, to be able to maybe even trade with people. There was just so many things positive about it, and I'm super excited about it as well. Now here is another one that I got for $7, a variegated Epipremnum silver streak pothos. This is like the Aurea version, so I already have the silver version, but this was awesome, and it was only for $7, and I already know $7.50. So I already know that this plant is actually going to establish fairly well. I love the fact that it is another plant that is going to do very well for me. So I was really happy. These were actually my first 3 purchases were from Hive Plants, and I'm super excited that I was able to talk to Travis, one of the owners, and then also just being able to see what that looks like. They also gave me some free sticky traps, yellow sticky traps. That really works well. But you know, to be honest, I don't have to use sticky traps because I do not have a fungus gnat situation anymore. Part of it is because I'm an underwaterer, so the soil doesn't really stay dry. And another part is because I spray my plants with that plant foiled mist neem oil spray that I use, and I haven't had any outbreaks. I think when you also look at like maybe the soil you're using, it also helps that I don't use particular soils that may have like fungus gnats. But again, plant foldies, PlantCon 2024 Dallas plant haul. This is day 1. Who knows if I'll have another plant haul for day 2? Probably, yeah, most likely. And if you want to see more of this type of content, again, plant foldies, please hit that like button. If you are listening to me and have not hit this like button, please hit the like button. Now, the next plant haul I'm going to be showing you is Wild Roots Nursery, which is a very awesome nursery out in New Braunfels, Texas. I was able to meet, I believe his name was Brian, and his family. They were such an amazing family. Just being able to see these plants, you can see right here, this is an Epipremnum pinnatum, Cebu Blue variegated pothos. I mean, that is amazing. And the thing about it is this pothos can actually get very ghostly. I love the fact that it's got that speckling, and it was for $32. The thing about it is I'm willing to spend the $32 for this because I know this plant, it is an Epipremnum pinnatum. So you already know that it's going to be a fast grower. And so I'm okay with that. And then also I have very close ties to any Epipremnum pinnatum because my family's from the Philippines. I say that in every video because I am a proud Filipino American. Epipremnum pinnatum is endemic to my home country, the Philippines. So that was really cool to find. And then I wanted to get these Anthurium seedlings. So this is actually a cross that was created by Wild Roots. I believe Jake was the one that created this, and he actually helped me pick this out. Now, I think this was $25, but I got 2 plants. So this is going to be, I think, a variegated bird's nest Anthurium of some sort. I don't know the cultivar they named it, but what I do know is they have some awesome Anthurium crossbreeds as well. And then this is a Syngonium Stayer Markii, but this was such a large one, and I was okay paying $45. So plant foldies, this is my second Syngonium that I got from PlantCon. There is one more in this plant haul, but you can see how gorgeous this is. It doesn't even really look like a Syngonium. It almost looks like a Philodendron, but they mark it as a Syngonium. Now, here's the thing about this plant. I've had this in the past. This one tends to be a little bit more finicky. It can get a little bit more spider mite prone, so you just have to really watch that. So I sprayed it down with some really good neem oil. This plant also needs a little bit more humidity to do well. It is a slower growing plant, at least in my care. Maybe it'll get it's a faster grower once it's established. This is extremely large, and that's the reason why I say Wild Roots, which is a local Texas plant nursery. I would recommend it. I definitely want to go to their nursery, and I hope that I would be given the opportunity to film their beautiful nursery. You know, I look at Wild Roots as well as Steve's Leaves as 2 primary nurseries that really have some amazing uncommon and rare plants that are available. They also had a huge selection. Very kind family. I love the fact that they were just able to answer a lot of questions. I was really excited to just go shopping. They were actually one of the first vendors that I really did some plant shopping. I filmed quite a bit, so you will definitely see what they have. And then on the second day, I'm probably going to go back and film even more Wild Roots because I want to, not that they need the exposure, but I really want more people to see their amazing plants because they are super rare. Now, this is just a Sansevieria bird's nest. So here's the thing, Plant Foldies, they had a promo where if you spent an X amount of plants, you would be able to get a mystery grab bag. And there is actually one grab bag that had a Philodendron Spirit de Sancti. Unfortunately, I wasn't the lucky one to get it, but I love Sansevieria bird's nest. It's an easy care plant, and I did want to show you this variegated plumeria right here. Look how stunning that is. This is again from Wild Roots. This one was, I believe, $50, but it is actually a good 2.5, 3 feet tall. The leaves are amazing, and the reason why I wanted to get a plumeria, especially a variegated one, is because it reminds me of my country, the Philippines. In the Philippines, plumerias can get 20 to 25 feet or even larger in size as far as a full-blown tree with very fragrant blooms. Now, what Brian explained to me is, and Jake as well at Wild Roots, is that this plumeria will actually go dormant in the winter. You do need to try to grow this outdoors. I will definitely put this outside in a patio where it does get quite a bit of light, and then just expect it to actually drop its leaves in the winter. It will need to be over winter, but it is an amazing plant find. Look at that variegation. And then Plant Foldies, I did want to show you another Syngonium Ormthong. So this Ormthong is from Hive Plants, and I got it for $30. Now, here's the thing about Ormthong. They had smaller varieties of Ormthong for like $20, but look at how full and large the leaves are. I have always wanted an Ormthong. Now, this Syngonium was quite expensive about 2 years ago. It was like, just for a little small size, it was like $100, and now to actually get one that size, I would say this plant has like leaves the width of about 3.5, 4 inches, and this is just a really good, beautiful variegation. And what I loved about the Hive Plants is Hive Plants is actually based out locally in North Dallas. So I'm super excited about that. I was actually able to get some of that contact information and make some little bit networking. And that's the name of the game when it comes to just plant conventions. It's how many people you can really get to know and find where you can get your plant pricing. I did want to tell Veronica, who is actually the one that was selling these plants, thank you so much for connecting with me. I know that Veronica is on Palm Street as well, so I'd be able to buy plants for that. But she did mention that if there were plants I was able to or was interested in, that I could just come up and do pickups at her home. So I'm excited about that. You already know, Plant Foldies, I'm all about the local plant businesses, small businesses. Even though I do have the majority of my content as big box store plant shopping, when it comes down to it, it's really wherever you can get the plants at a good price. And I hope you guys are enjoying my plant haul. Please leave in the comments if you have kept up with how many plants I received or bought on day one of PlantCon 2024. I am happy that PlantCon was not that far from where I'm based at. It's literally maybe a 20-minute drive south from where I'm staying. So I love that. The city of Allen, super thankful that they were able to host this PlantCon. And truthfully, for those that are making decisions on where they're going to do PlantCon, I hope that they will choose this location for Dallas and just keep it here, because it makes it easy for me to travel. And the PlantCon cannot be a PlantCon without Steve's Leaves. And we already know Steve's Leaves comes with a huge punch when it comes to just the amount of indoor tropical plants they have, and just plants in general. Like you can see right here. Now this one is a Pseudoranthenum stainless steel, and guess what? This was only $5. So they had some really good cost-effective pricing. I am going to go back to Steve's Leaves and probably purchase more plants like that. But what I like about this plant is it is uncommon looking. It reminds me of like a croton plant. And with this particular plant, I just like that dark foliage leaf it has. It also has that steel metallic look about it. It's unique. It's not a plant that a lot of people talk about. And when I talk about Steve's Leaves, obviously they're going to have the rare aroids, the tropical plants, the things that we are most interested in. But they also have plants that are uncommon. Like I'm hoping that they would have like a Graptophyllum pictum, for instance, available for the second day, because I would totally buy it. But they had some plants here that I definitely would want to add to my collection. And I was glad I was able to pick this up. $5 is amazing for a 3-inch planter. And when I spray it down with some of my neem oil spray, it's going to look fabulous. I'm super excited about that. We're going to see what that looks like for sure. And then we've got another interesting trade Scanthia right here. I had to get this one because it is a darker foliage plant. It has some nice variegation. It has larger foliage leaves like a trade Scanthia nanuk, but it is a little bit different. This is a trade Scanthia Variegata. Really like the look of this plant as well. And again, these leaves, they've got it going on, and I love collecting their plants. Now, my friend who works for Steve's Leaves, his name is Jordan. He's a fellow kababayan, another Filipino American. We got to chatting. Jordan, it was nice meeting you. I thought your name was Carl, but I forgot that that's not your real name on on social media. So I'm just excited that I was able to spend some time with you. I am hoping that I will be able to tour Steve's Leaves, perhaps film some of that, because I would really like to really just feature Steve's Leaves onto my YouTube channel. I think that since I'm literally just east of where Steve's Leaves are, it's literally a 15 to 18 minute drive to Louisville from where I'm based at. I have bought plants from Steve's Leaves for several years, and I just love it. I love their begonias, even though I am not such a good begonia caretaker, but just plants like this, like look at this one right here, that red plant is amazing as well. And for my plant foldy rose, it was so nice meeting you, but that one red plant is called an irisine rose, and it was also for $5. You can see that trade Scanthia right here. Variegata was beautiful, and then this rose right here, this red one. Now, this particular plant, though, I am going to have to monitor a little bit more so, because it is a thirsty plant, and it's a plant that needs a little bit more water. It's definitely a thirsty plant, so we want to make sure that that plant gets those needs, which makes it more of all the plants, honestly, that I did a plant haul so far. That plant is probably the most challenging plant, because it does require more water and more light, and those are the water part. It's really truly controllable by me. The light part, it's really unfortunate that I don't have all of that beautiful bright indirect light. I do have some wide east facing windows, but I put that on more of my premium plants. But plant foldies, what do you think so far of my plant haul? You know, Steve Leaves, I am definitely going to buy more plants for them. Again, support local. I know that I'm going to go probably buy some more plants from Bti's Planters. I did want to shout out Bti's Planters because they had some amazing plants as well. And I did want to show you, speaking of Bti's Planters, look at this variegated Alocasia odora. So I have always wanted a variegated Alocasia odora this size, but what was interesting is, thank you, Kevin, Plant Foldy Kevin. I keep missing you. Apparently, you shop at Bti's Planters. Dave says that you've bought plants and have been a long time viewer. Thank you so much, because Plant Foldies, when you talk about kindness, let's all shout out Kevin, because he left this gorgeous Alocasia variegated plant for me. It was a free plant, a gift from a plant foldy by the name of Kevin. Kevin, please send me a direct message on Instagram if you have Instagram. I would really love that. And then I also hope that you and I can meet up and talk about plants. Really appreciate it. But that really sums up what PlantCon was all about. It's all about that camaraderie amongst plant lovers, and the fact that we are just able to celebrate the beauty of plants, where it's a variegated plant, a common, easy to grow plant. Because I mean, this was really what topped off my entire day. Obviously meeting the local plant foldies, but then just unexpecting the plant, you know, not expecting that somebody would leave a gift for me like this variegated Alocasia is awesome. I am so happy to have it. I may transfer it into hydroponics. But plant foldies, what do you guys think about my plant haul? How many plants did I get on my plant haul video? It is really exciting to see that, and then we'll see what that looks like over here. So super excited about that. And I love the plumeria, for instance, this variegated plumeria from Wild Roots. I definitely want to go visit New Braunfels for Wild Roots. Look at that trade Scanthia right here. And all of my Indonesian plants right here. PlantCon 2024 is amazing. And I will have some more plant hauls for y'all. I hope that I was able to give the plant vendors justice through this video. You can see that all of the plants I received today were all healthy, lush, full, priced very well. And again, if you do not have you know, haven't had a chance to go to a plant convention, definitely consider getting it. I mean, I would even go as to fly to another plant convention. My next goal is to go to Florida for PlantCon. I believe they're going to be there as well. I'm not 100% sure, so I'm going to have to just clarify that. But look at all of the plants I have. It's all on my table right now, so it is a jumbled mess. They are going to go into my plant room, but for now, my table faces the east, so I know that one where, you know, in the morning they're going to actually have some really good light. The plants are now sprayed down, they're clean, they're hydrated, and they're ready to really acclimate into my space. So plant foldies, what do you think of all of the plants that I got from these plant vendors? I really want to know your comments. And if you haven't hit the like button and you made it this far, please hit the like button. I would really appreciate it. It helps grow the channel. It helps us push this content to more plant lovers like yourself. Hopefully I will get some more people who may not necessarily watch big box or plant shopping videos interested, because I am trying to diversify my my plant content a little bit more, so try to pivot to even more diversity of just personal plants, more uncommon and rare plants. But you already know GrowFold's plant channel is actually a YouTube channel for anybody who loves plants, because I will feature different kinds. But you can see it is late this evening. I probably got done getting my plants ready at like 1 a.m. and I do intend to get to PlantCon by noon tomorrow. But again, please hit the like button for this videos, please, please, please. That would just be an amazing thing for you to help me out. And then plant foldies, I hope to meet you at PlantCon Day 2 if you are. This is Richie at GrowFolds. Please subscribe with the notification bell on. I definitely will have so many plant content from PlantCon in this week. I'll see you soon.